is the Fade 5 Podcast with Brad Evans and Nate Lundy.
That's right! It's Thursday. We got football Americano on the schedule, which means place your bets. Brad, the big noise, Evans back with you. The good sir, Nathaniel Lundy as well. And then a snore-fest of a matchup tonight between the Steelers and Browns, divisional foes, on which I think field goals are going to be plenty. We do have something at least to entertain us and wager on. So let's go ahead and jump immediately into the fray. Steelers, Browns, and C-Town. Cleveland is favored by 4.5 with a 38.5 total. Pull this line for BetMGM. And right now, about 65% of the public action taken, the visitors and the points on the 4.5. What say you, Lundy?
I say Cleveland wins it, but everything about the line and the spread of this game, I absolutely despise. I'm going to be honest with you. Loved it. I mean, didn't it open, Brad, at like 40 and a half, and it's basically been bet down? I've seen it at 38.5. I've seen it at a flat 38, which I think is where DraftKings has it as of tape time here on the pod. So I'm going to go with a final of 20-16. So I'm on the under. To your point, I think there's going to be a lot of field goals. If I do the math there, 20-16, it means I'm looking at 5 field goals between the two of them. So I think we're going to see a lot of field goals. Weather, by the way, is supposed to be cloudy, about 60 degrees, and call the winds around 20. So it's just kind of it's your typical upper Midwest, football game. But I'm going to take Cleveland to win it. I think the home team wins. But I'm going to say about 20-16, but I can tell you right now, the spread, the total, for the most part, unless I'm alt-lining some stuff, I'm staying away from it tonight.
Yeah, I'm going 19-17. I think, again, the active legs of both kickers will be the center of this entire contest. And, I mean, this is a game that's worthy of NyQuil chicken, to be honest with you. Marinated, whether green or red is your flavor, doesn't really matter. Consume it and just go night-night, because this game is going to be quite a bore, I think, from start to finish, and that's why I'm taking the under. And I also like Pittsburgh, as I mentioned, too, plus the 4.5. So I'm Joe Public tonight, but I think Joe Public is going to get it right. All right, with that put to rest, let's go ahead and jump in on another edition of the Fade 5.
Number 5.
All right, there's props, and more player props, of course, for Thursday Night Football, and this will keep our blood stirring. This will keep us awake through what will likely be a snooze fest, as I mentioned. And let's go rub-a-dub-dub, Nick Chubb first. Will the Chubb Club be open? Not on the ground. We've seen his rush yards prop really spike. It opened at some books at 79.5. It's as high as 85.5 at tape time here. But I want to focus in on receiving yards. It's just 6.5. And that's come down from where it opened at 8.5. Pulled this from BetMGM at -115. And I'm taking the over here, Lundy, on the Chubb Club. Bottle service for everybody. Grey Goose, Class A Azul, top shelf liquors only. I need one catch. That's it. I think he could easily do it on the one reception, given the break tackle skills. He's got 3.69 yards of contact per attempt, and he was one of the front runners in that category last year. Through the first couple of games is what he's posted. And 19 missed tackles forced. That's number 1 in the NFL right now. So we know he's got the shimmy, the shake, the power. He had 3 catches for 26 yards last week in that shootout against the Jets. And the Steelers have given up 13 catches for $116 through the air to rushers. So, give me 1-2 receptions, and Chubb, I think, nails this. Hopefully he won't pull a Travis Etienne and fumble backwards and we lose on a prop like we did in week 1. So stay the course, dub, Nick Chubb. Give me the over, 6.5 receiving yards, -115 at BetMGM. Lundy, is this a sneaky fade or follow?
No, I'll follow this one because of how low the number is. You're going to see something similar with Chubb coming up in bonus time from me as I get a little crazy with the Cheese Whiz on a crossover same game parlay. We'll talk about that. But I think he gets up over this because I think he can do it in one catch. We know he can certainly do it within two. I think this is, again, it's going to be a snooze fest of a game. Chances are I'm going to be flipping the channels. Like if Jaws is on, I'll be watching that and then occasionally coming back to check the score, maybe mix in a little Twister. I'm just saying, just if Twister's on, I always have to watch it. I can't help it. So you just put all that together. This is going to be such a boring ass game. But I do believe you might occasionally some flickers of fun on the offensive side. I think that'll be the case here with Chubb. So give me the over in this one as the guys on Amazon Prime try to keep us all awake.
Take the over on Nick Chubb receiving yards.
Number 4.
All right, let's go to Nick Chubb's backfield compadre, his partner, his dance partner. That is Kareem Hunt. And I'm going to take the under here, Lundy, on 43.5 rushing yards for Hunt in this one. You look at what Hunt has done this season. He's seen 39.5% of the opportunity share, just over 51% of the snap share. And, that's kind of par for the course for him. Has made the most of it so far. He's averaging 12 carries per game, and a guy, who's going to be right around this total likely in the end. But you look at the underlying numbers, an impressive 3.67 yards after contact per attempt. He's forced a mixed tackle 25% of the time. That all feeds into the over narrative. But why I like the under, again, I think it's going to be a black and blue fest. And Pittsburgh has a relatively stiff defense. They've given up just 3.92 yards per carry to the running back position and 102 rush yards per game. So Hunt probably going to get around 10 carries in this one. I'm thinking 39, 40 yards, 43.5, a little too rich for my blood, so I'm fading it. So are you going to fade me? Fade or follow? Kareem Hunt under 43.5 rush yards, minus 114 at Bet Rivers.
So far, I've not had a lot of luck with my player props on Kareem Hunt. He keeps doing the opposite of what I expect of him so far through week 1 and week 2. So I don't think I have a choice but to fade you in this one because my gut says he's going to go under, which means based on my history through the first 2 weeks with Kareem Hunt, he's going to wind up clipping the over and just barely. He's going to completely screw me like he did last week. Brad, last week, let's talk here for a second. Last week, his longest reception was 12.5. I took the under. Why? Because the Jets weren't allowed. The longest reception the Jets had allowed was 10. You know what he finished? 13. He hooked me. The son of a bitch hooked me. Which means he's probably going to hook one of us on this. He's going to finish with either 43, which will screw me over because I'm going to fade you and take the over, or he's going to finish with 44 and screw you because that's what Kareem Hunt does to us.
He does. Lots of screwing with Kareem Hunt. Please be kind to me.
Number 3.
All right, let's go ahead and get some plus odds action in here and do a little OGP or same game parlay. They call it OGPs at BetMGM, and that's where I constructed this little 2-legger. And it's leg number 1, Deontay Johnson of the Steel Tanners, 5+ receptions. And I'm going to parlay that with his teammate, Pat Freiermuth, 4+ receptions. You get it at plus odds, plus 105 at BetMGM. Why am I high on both these gentlemen? Well, Deontay Johnson has seen really an absurd workload thus far. 22 targets, 13 receptions for 112 yards. Yeah, he's not blasting box score in yardage, but 7 receptions against the Bengals, 6 receptions against the Patriots. And he had 31.4 target share in total percentage-wise in both of those contests combined. He's working close to line, only 5.1 yards per target because Mitchell Trubisky really struggles even down the field. And he's going to get some great Newsome in coverage. Now, Newsome's been decent, giving up just an 81.7 passer rating through the first 2 weeks. And Cleveland as a whole, though, giving up 7.63 yards per attempt. This is all about volume for Deontay Johnson. I think he catches at least 5 balls. And if you just want the individual prop on the 5.5 receptions, I'd lean over on that as well. I think it's going to be 6+ in the end. And you look at Pat Freiermuth, another guy who has seen an incredible target share early on this season, 24.3% in that category. That's 17 total looks from Trubisky's in total. And I think he's going to be fed the ball early and often yet again. He had 5 for 75 against Cincinnati. Last week, humbled a little bit, but still had 4 receptions for 22 yards and a touchdown against New England. Cleveland giving up 9 for 94 in total to tight ends through 2 weeks, including 6 catches to Tyler Conklin. So here in the end, I think it's at least 4 grabs of the pigskin by Freiermuth. And again, slapping it together with Deontay Johnson. I got a plus 105 at BetMGM. Fade or follow?
I say Pat finishes right at 4. So that's going to be the side of it. I think Deontay actually gets to 6 or 7. So I feel pretty comfortable on the first leg. I like the plus odds. I think Pat, though, is going to finish right at 4. That's what my gut tells me. So I think this is one that we might be like, all right, we're sitting on 3. We're sitting on 3. We're sitting on 3. Yeah, exactly. I think we're going to be feeling that a little bit. But I like this one, and I like the fact that it's a nice, simple plus odds at a 105 there at BetMGM. Good one to be able to put together. I like these little same gamers. I like these little 2-leg same gamers. I said it last week on the pod. I say it again this week. Don't get crazy. Build yourself a couple of very, very simple ones. I did that last week, as a matter of fact, on You Bet Pro Football, the Sunday show on Altitude. Did 3 different, very simple 3-leg ones, and we went 3-0. And they were stupid simple, folks. And I understand it's not sexy when the odds are plus 120, plus 108, crap like that. Who cares? You won. Get over yourself.
Yeah, build the old bankroll with the OGP.
Number 2.
All right, numero dos here on the Fade 5. How about Najee Harris and a full fade? Hence the podcast name, the Fade 5, and that's exactly what I'm doing here on Harris rush yards. Pulled this one from PointsBet minus 120 on 55.5 on that under. Most of the books still at 54.5 as well, and I would still be under on that. Now, Cleveland has given up north of 4 yards per carry at 4.27 through the first couple of weeks, but they're also only allowing 57 rush yards per game to the running back position. And, it's not like they have faced the Sisters of the Motherless Poor last week, 15-49 to Damian Harris. Cincinnati, they held Joe Mixon just 23 yards in week number 1. And you look at Harris, not exactly banging the box score by any stretch of the imagination, just 2.44 yards after contact per attempt. He's forced only 2 missed tackles on 25 attempts, and a guy that, is probably going to hover around this number here in the end. So they actually didn't face Mixon. I was misreading my own handwriting. It was scribbled and it's chicken scratch. They played the Jets in Hall, and Michael Carter had 73 in total, but each of them was under this number. So now I got the record straight.
Yeah.
Will that be the case with Najee Harris on this under, Lundy? 55.5 rush yards. Hopefully you can read your own handwriting. Minus 120 at PointsBet.
No, I can't read my own handwriting. And folks, I've actually seen Brad's notes when we've done our TV
It's
shows
awful.
before, and it is awful. I have no idea how he can see anything that he wrote down. He's just making shit up is basically what he's doing.
Correct.
This is, look, I don't like a lot about this game, not the least of which is the fact that I think it's going to be a snooze fest. There's a lot that I don't like about this game, and in part, I think the odds makers have done a really good job with the lines. I just referenced that with the Kareem Hunt one, that I think he's going to be really close to that damn number, and I think Chubb's going to be really close to this one. So to be honest, this isn't one that I would want to bet. I'd much rather stay away from this and find another prop that I like a little bit better. For purposes of this, based on the defense, I'll follow you in terms of the under, but I'm telling you right now, this is not one that I would bet.
Najee Harris, straight up nasty, and not the good kind. Numbers on the ground. Bank on that.
Number 1.
All right, numero uno here. And, of course, it is a rush yards prop tied to a quarterback. And get your brisket ready.
Welcome to the party, Brad. Welcome to the Jacoby Brissett party, everybody. If you have been paying attention, you're cashing tickets right now.
Well, truth be told, I got this number when it opened at 9.5, and
Same.
it has jumped to 13.5 rush yards at minus 110 at MGM, and I'm still taking the over with the brisket. Serve them up and hopefully be delectable here in the end, and I believe it will be. You look at Pittsburgh and what they have given up on the ground. To Joe Burrow, 6 carries for 47 yards. Last week, Mac Jones had 7, but he's running in quicksand for 6 yards. So he was well shy of that number. But you look at Brissett, had 10 in week 1. And then last week, 6 for 43. I think the truth is going to be somewhere in the middle for him. You know, he's a guy that moves well, 6'4", 230 pounds. He loves the quarterback sneaks on short down distances, especially 4th downs, but he can also run outside the numbers. And on a team that is predicated on running the football, Cleveland's run it about 55% of the time so far this year. I think it'll be some opportunistic runs. I think there'll be some designed runs for Brissett. So on at least a handful of rush attempts, I think he gets to at least 15 rushing yards. And here the line is at 13.5. So fade or follow on that over. Jacoby Brissett, 13.5 rush yards, just minus 110 at BetMGM.
I told everybody, welcome to the party. I was all about 9.5 was the number last week. He got past that one. It opened at 9.5 again this week, and everybody thought, oh, wait a minute. Might want to jump on that. And then the odds makers, of course, had to adjust accordingly and get it up to 13. I agree with you. I think he actually gets somewhere between 16 and 19. So he's going to surpass this number, even though it's climbed. So obviously loved it at 9.5. Still like it at 13.5. It'll be a little bit closer than the comfort level you had where it opened. But if he does this again, Brad, next week he's going to open at probably 11.5 or 12.5. This is just going to keep going. So this is another one of those that you got to jump on early in the week. You got to pay attention. Make sure you're following Brad and I on Twitter, because when these guys pump out these numbers early, and I'm talking about the books, when they post those numbers, we try to let you know what you can jump on immediately in the week before things start moving, because we see this. We see 2, 3, 4, sometimes upwards of double-digit yardage movement with these guys. And this is one that you could have jumped on. I did the same thing you did. I saw it at 9.5 when it opened, and I couldn't click the bet now fast enough. It was one of those, like, I'm trying to log in, right? Like I'm tapping, I'm trying to do like the Face ID, and I'm holding my phone at weird angles, trying to get my damn Face ID to get done so that I can get in there and make the bet before somebody manages to change the line. So love this one. Love the fact that it's at number 1. It's my favorite bet of the Thursday night game, even though this game's going to suck.
Yeah, it really is. It's going to be painful. Thank God Illinois is playing the mighty Chattanooga Mocs tonight in college football. So that will divert my attention probably all for like a quarter. But I got something else to lean on as well. And I also, too, Lundy. Oh, let's just get to it. I got other action in bonus time. And I know you do as well. And I got some other action on the college gridiron. But I'm going to give you the floor first. What else do you like tonight?
Okay, let's roll through these. We're getting a little bit interesting, shall we say, with a couple of these. First of all, over at DraftKings, the best odds in the biz right now are at a minus 105. I will take Nick Chubb for an anytime touchdown. Even though you and I believe this is going to be a bit of a field goal fest, potentially a snooze fest in terms of the overall total, I do think that Chubb finds the end zone. And like I said, right now the best odds are a minus 105 for an anytime touchdown at DraftKings. Everybody else has him higher than that. So grab that one at DK. I said that I had a crossover same game parlay with our friends at DraftKings. So this is where you got a couple of legs in one sport, one game, and then another one in another sport. So let's look at this one. Give me, you know how much I hate Amari Cooper, but still, give me Amari Cooper to have 35 or more receiving yards, just 35, pretty low threshold. Okay. Give me Nick Chubb for 3 yards or more. So I brought our 6.5 down. Okay. Then I'm going to bounce over to the Yankees-Red Sox game. I need a hit from Anthony Rizzo, and I need a hit from Tommy Pham. That's all I need out of those two guys, and it's because if you look at the batting history, Rizzo's got a 404 lifetime average against Michael Wacha. Look over at Tommy Pham. He's got a 412 lifetime average against Talion, the pitcher for the Yankees. So you put those two together. I need a hit out of each of those guys, and then I need the stats out of the Thursday nighter. That is a plus 298 at the one that has me the most concerned, to be honest with you, is making sure that Amari Cooper gets to 35 plus in what you and I believe is going to be a ground and pound type of game. But that's the payday on that one. Then I'm going to do a 2-leg alt line in college football tonight. Yes, I'm leaving the Illini out of this, by the way. West Virginia and Virginia Tech. I brought the total down. Give me the over at 44.5. The standard line is 50. I'm bringing it down to 44.5. Then give me Georgia State plus 7.5. I say they can keep it within a touchdown. I even think the Panthers might win this outright, but I'm going to go ahead and buy myself the cushion. So if I take the over at 44.5 alt line with West Virginia and Vatek, if I take Georgia State plus 7.5, that is a plus 109 from DraftKings. And finally, folks, as much as we are enjoying what's happening with Aaron Judge right now, do you know what his lifetime average is against Michael Walker? 0.0. He is 0 for 14 with 9 strikeouts lifetime against Walker, and that is who is going to be on the bump for the Red Sox. So if you go to Bet Rivers right now, it's at plus 102. At DraftKings, it's a minus 110 for him to have under 1.5 total bases. As much fun as it's been, all the bonuses for him to hit number 60, for him to hit number 61, this is the one pitching matchup he's got this week where he freaking sucks. And has not been able to get off the schneid. Now, you watch. Just because of that, he's probably going to go yard in his first pitch just to spite me. But if history means anything, he does not have a good history against Walker. So I'm going to take the under on Judge. I say this is the one off night, and then he manages to get to number 61 as we roll into the weekend. There you go. There's my bonus time, brother.
All right, since you're a one-nut wonder on that Georgia State and Coastal Carolina game, I'm going to go full Team Huevos on it. I say Georgia State wins it at plus 110 right now. Give me the plus odds. I don't know if you've seen who Coastal Carolina has played, but it's pretty piss-poor competition. They beat Army. They barely got by Gardner-Webb, and they beat a downtrodden Buffalo team 38-26. Meanwhile, Georgia State played South Carolina. Yeah, they got beat up pretty badly, 35-14. Pushed North Carolina to the limit at 35-28. It barely lost to Charlotte at 42-41 last week. Both these defenses are non-existent. Panthers giving up 424.7 total yards per game. Coastal Carolina 392 flat total yards per game allowed. But Darren Granger, the quarterback of the Panthers, has gotten it done. 8-2 touchdown to interception split. He will be the difference maker tonight. He carves up the Fighting Cocks, also known as the Chanticleers, and they get the win straight up, their first of the season. So don't be swayed by the surface records. Yes, I know Coastal Carolina is undefeated, but again, who they played, and Georgia State has played more meaningful competition, but they get their first win of the year. Elsewhere for yours truly, I don't know why I was talking like a Brit there. Give me David Njoku for an anytime touchdown stomp tonight. Why? It's plus 400 right now at BetMGM. It's crazy good value. The guy's only seen 10.5% of the targets here, but he's running 20.5 routes per game. He's a fixture inside the red zone. He's already had a couple of goal line looks this year. Hasn't cashed in yet. I know the Steelers have yet to allow a tight end touchdown. But again, you look at Hayden Hurst. Last year he was able to do some damage underneath. 5 for 46. No score, but I got an inkling, a sneaky suspicion here that David Njoku gets an end zone stomp, spike, and celebrates. And plus 400, why the hell not? It's worth a sprinkle, in my opinion. Also worth a wager. Let's do a one-game parlay, shall we? In this game, give me the under, and I'm going to play this on an alt line, up to 47.5. Which there's no way in hell it's going to get there. I would be shocked. I think these guys would have to be drugged for this total to reach 48 overall, given the propensity of each of these offenses and the upside of each defense. And Drew, I know Cleveland's been putting up points, 26 and 30 in the first couple of games, but this is going to be reality. And it's going to set in here probably in the teens that we talked about at the top of the show. So total under 47.5. Again, give me Freiermuth, 4+ receptions for all the reasons I mentioned earlier in the show. And then Najee Harris, I can't believe they had a suppressed line, an alt line offered of 5 or more receiving yards. That's it. I mean, the guy had 5 for 40 last week, and he is a fixture as a safety valve for Mitch Trubisky. Underneath and in the flat, he's averaging 14.5 routes run per game, and Cleveland has given up 11 receptions to running back. So Total under 47.5. Freiermuth 4+ catches. And Najee Harris 5+ receiving yards. Plus 155 at BetMGM. Gotta love that. And I'm out of picks. I got a ton more already posted for week number 3. Please follow my spreadsheet. Follow Lundy's free spreadsheet as well on Twitter. Me at Noisy Huevos and Lundy at Nate Lundy. Drop us a rating and or review, whether it's on YouTube, if you're watching this podcast, or if you're just listening to it in traditional form, wherever you download and get your podcast. Any kind of positive feedback obviously helps us here in the end. And that is a wrap on today's edition of the Fade 5. We'll be back tomorrow. And until next time, as always, fade or follow. That is up to you.